Hello everyone, this is my week 28 recap. And really I was only able to contact Solomon. Well, actually it was 3 days, but one day he was kind of going over the same subject, so I'm assuming that it was a pretty important point for me to get. And I felt like I got it the first time, but then when I was trying to remember a little bit of it, I was, I guess, a little confused, and so he went over it again for me today. Um, so on the 5th of June, I wasn't able to contact him at all. In fact, I saw a vision of someone telling me that I wouldn't be able to reach him that day. So it's really odd. Um, on the 6th, I did reach Solomon, and he was teaching me on the importance of self-love. And it was kind of going over that and some of this I'll just explain was mostly from today because he was so detailed on the 6th that I had a hard time picking something to write down. It was just too much information for me to really be able to put down on paper in a limited amount of time that I have in the morning. Um, but I did write down some today. So it was basically, I mean, and a lot of this comes from other teachings as well, from what I've heard. But it seemed like I got it a little bit more when he was explaining it to me, and he was just saying that the most important thing for me to focus on was self-love, and it said appreciation of self, which will naturally result in appreciation of others. In fact, when you think ill thoughts of another, it is based upon a lack of self-love on the subject, on whatever subject it is. There is judgment there that must be examined and dealt with love. And so basically, whenever you're having some type of sticking point, it's basically direct. Most of the time, is directed toward some aspect of yourself that you're not appreciating, and so and I guess that's very important for myself, and so I just it's something that I need to work on. On the 8th, I also spoke with him, and and I was asking him. It seems like I get in contact with him. Just sidetrack here just for a second. It seems like I get in contact with him when I have kind of a specific question that I'm asking. Then that's my cat, unfortunately. I'll grab her real quick. Come on. Interrupting my video. It seems like I have contact with Solomon when I have a specific question, when I'm focused on something, and when I'm not really don't really have much of a question, or I'm not really kind of in a general mode, just kind of teach me whatever's most important. I tend to not get him, or the information is vague. So it does seem to be correlated a little bit. I'm noticing to questions that I have specifically. If I have a specific question, then I'm going to get a pretty specific answer. So I'm noticing that. Um, so anyway, on the 8th, I spoke with Solomon, and he was discussing when is a good time to deal with an emotional sticking point, and when it's a good time to ignore it. And basically, he was saying that it's almost always the correct thing to ignore the unwanted and wait for the opportunity to enjoy the opposite when appropriate. And what it comes down to on this is that you don't want to immediately just kind of contradict a negative emotion with like a positive affirmation or something. He was basically saying is just to experience, whatever negative emotion it is. It's actually probably easier to just experience it and allow it to come through, and then later when it's a more appropriate time, when the emotion of it has faded, of whatever event, think back on the time and realize what you really want, because basically it's a contradiction, or what you're not appreciating, or something, and take that opportunity when the emotion is gone to focus on the opposite of that, because obviously you wouldn't have a negative emotion if there wasn't some contradiction there, of desire, of some type of emotion that you're having. You're actually um, it's hard to, unless I have an example, it's hard to explain. If you have like a boss that you are have some type of negative response to, because they are always on you, I mean, they're just, and they never seem to appreciate you. So I mean, you're really upset because of a lack of appreciation. And so the real issue is the feeling of lack of appreciation. Go on. Sorry about that. So what you have to do is you can't really do anything about it in the moment. You have to just experience it and just kind of keep in mind that that's telling you this is a subject that you need to work on. And then when you're at home and you have quiet time and you can reflect on it, that's the time to start focusing on that subject of what you actually desire, which is appreciation. So you can actually begin to appreciate the good job that the boss is doing. If that's too difficult, then try to appreciate yourself, and appreciate the good aspects of what you're doing, even if you're not getting the appreciation from from your boss. And the reason why I mentioned that appreciate your boss first is because you kind of want to um, again, as Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world. Um, if they're not appreciating you, you show appreciation. That's what you want to see. So you appreciate things on them, and you'll notice a difference, because you'll be emanating this feeling of appreciation. And that's actually worked for me, by the way. That's a real example of something that's happened, and something that I did do, and I did notice a significant difference. Um, but as with any humans, you're always, sometimes I get confused on when is a good time to when I'm having a negative experience. Should I just kind of you kind of like fight it and try to start focusing on the opposite, which is pretty difficult during the time. And that's why I got that as an answer. It was basically telling me, just don't even worry about it at that time. Just keep in mind what it's teaching you, and then when it's when you have an appropriate time, that's the time to really focus on the area you want to focus on. And that's pretty much it for this week that I got from him. So again, thank you everyone for watching, and take care.